If you've seen the new HBO hit Euphoria, then you must know who Alexa Demie is. Her character portrayals in both Euphoria and the film mid-90s made her the newest Hollywood it girl. But recently, Alexa's been in a bit of hot water online. Fans are alleging that Demie is actually lying about her age, and that instead of being 25 like she claims, she's actually about 29 years old. Demie's fans are not happy about this new discovery because when she kissed an 11-year-old actor on the set of mid-90s, she was actually about 28 years old, and people were concerned about a level of inappropriateness going on behind the scenes. When asked about the kiss, Alexa apparently tried to justify her actions by saying, quote, "He's just so cool, and it felt comfortable and safe after thinking about it. There's no way I didn't want to be a part of it." The fact that she just tried justifying her actions is a little sketchy to me, because if you saw the movie and the kiss that I'm referring to, it might make you a little uneasy to think that some people were just okay with it. I mean, there's a lot of uncomfortable content in that movie in my opinion, but still. Not many people raised concerns about the kiss initially, and those who did were mostly in Reddit threads, but it wasn't until these newest rumors emerged that people really started realizing what happened and started getting uncomfortable with the fact that she had kissed a minor. What I want to know is, why didn't anyone do something sooner? I'm only just finding out about this now. Regardless of her true age, she was still an adult when the kiss happened, and he was still a minor. There was literally at least a 10-year age gap. The rumors surrounding Alexa's age all started when Twitter users got a hold of information about her past. Things such as graduation alumni lists from 2008, quotes from back in 2010 which state her real age, and even some birth records. Now, I'm not saying that some of y'all are going a little overboard with this investigation, but come on guys, you literally search for her birth records. That's like the type of thing jealous girlfriends do when their boyfriends are talking to other girls, or when your bestie goes on a first date and you stalk her partner's social history from like the last 10 years. Anyway, many of these alleged sources show Demie's history from 10 years ago and articles written about a brand that she created back in 2010 at the age of 19. Basically showing her life before the fame, and most importantly showing her age, causing her story to have a few gaps in it. Now, no one has been given confirmation that these rumors are true, but I've gotta say there's a lot of evidence that might be pointing towards Twitter's thesis being true. But until anything's confirmed, we'll just have to speculate. Well, there you have it guys, we have a real mystery on our hands. What do you think about this rumor? Is Alexa Demie really lying about her age? Is it true? Just conspiracy? Honestly, I don't know what to believe, but either way, it's a little unsettling. You know what? Maybe she's just a time traveler. Well, you never know.
HBO's Euphoria is easily the most watched teen drama right now. The season premiere hit a record 13.1 million people watching, a massive jump from the first season. Because of its success, it's already been picked up for a third season, and the show's creator and writer Sam Levinson could not be more ecstatic. But even with the season's success, some OG fans are not impressed and don't like the direction that the show is taking in terms of nudity. It's an R-rated show meant for adults, but it feels like the level of unclothed actors has been amped up significantly and unnecessarily. For any of you that watch, I am still traumatized by that bathroom scene in the first episode. Like, why was that in there? There's also been drama surrounding the storylines. The first season treated the main characters equally, with all of them getting an interesting plotline, but now it seems like there's a few key favorites that get all the screen time. Specifically, Sydney Sweeney is now one of the top characters, but they're also getting the most nude scenes by far. One character left clearly in the rearview mirror is Kat, played by Barbie Ferreira, who allegedly butted heads with Levinson over some elements of the direction of her character. The news first broke on Instagram page Demie, with a source claiming, quote, "Barbie got into it with Sam on set and left one day. He then cut a lot of her lines." Now that many episodes have been released and only a handful of scenes with Barbie, it's clear that source was right, and whatever scenes she gets are dull and make her character look terrible. Barbie also did not show up to the season 2 premiere, a clear dig towards the show. The Daily Beast spoke with a handful of production sources who confirmed that Barbie walked off the set multiple times because of disagreements with Levinson, but she's avoided talking about the tension in interviews and plays off her lack of lines as character development, claiming, quote, "She's secretly going through a lot of existential crises." Another source of tension between the cast and Levinson was shooting the premiere episode's New Year's Eve party scene. The filming took place for a week and only at night, so they would work the entire night until it became light out. Maud Apatow said, quote, "We shot all night, so we would start at 6 p.m. and go until whenever the sun would rise, 5 a.m., and we were so tired. We were trying so hard to stay awake." Jacob Elordi, who plays Nate, agreed, saying, quote, "The thing is, we do it for so long. We shot that party for over a week so very quickly, it's like being in hell. It's like being at a party that you don't want to be be in at all, and you can't wait to leave. Nudity has also been a reoccurring subject, with actresses like Sydney Sweeney having to defend the amount of nude scenes that she has. She's revealed that she actually said no to even more of those scenes, and what we saw in the finished version was a lot less of those scenes than was intended. Sweeney said, quote, "There are moments where Cassie was supposed to be shirtless and I would tell Sam, I don't really think that's necessary here. And he was like, okay, we don't need it. I've never felt like Sam has pushed it on me or was trying to get a nude scene on an HBO show." She added, quote, "When I didn't want to do it, he didn't make me." But these comments still sparked backlash for Levinson because other women might not have the confidence to speak up against excessive nudity like Sweeney had. Sweeney should not have had to say she was uncomfortable so many times for him to actually listen and change future scripts. Another actress who was supposed to show more than she wanted was Chloe Cherry, who plays Faye. She recently revealed that Sam initially wanted her to be completely unclothed throughout her first scene with male co-star Tyler Chase, who plays her on-screen boyfriend Custer. She's not originally an actress and was handpicked by Levinson to be in the show from social media, even more eyebrow-raising to some fans. That scene didn't end up being the way Levinson wanted, and after it was pitched to be nude, Tyler, the actor who played her boyfriend, spoke against it and said it was unnecessary, so they thankfully cut it. One fan on Twitter wrote, quote, "Interesting that she couldn't even express her discomfort, but Tyler had to do it for her." Some even accused Levinson of picking actresses with less experience so they wouldn't speak out against him, because Cherry said previously that she was so happy and honored to be there, she would do about anything he asked. Another actress new to the show, Minka Kelly, spoke about how she was supposed to be uncovered in one of her first scenes, but spoke against it. In one scene with Maddie unzips her dress for her in a pretty tame scene, but Levinson wanted the dress to drop to the floor originally, showing off her body. Kelly pushed back against it, saying, quote, "That was my first day as a guest on this new show, and I just didn't feel comfortable standing there naked." Adding, quote, "I said I'd love to do this scene, but I think we can keep my dress on." He was like, okay. He didn't even hesitate, and he shot a beautiful scene and got exactly what he wanted. As a fan of Euphoria, I can definitely see a difference in this season to last, and it's clear he's playing favorites, making Cassie the new star of the season and clearly leaving out Barbie whenever he can. Honestly, I just don't like this season as much as last. Hope that's not controversial.
Actress Sydney Sweeney is best known for her roles in the Netflix series Everything Sucks and in the smash hit show Euphoria. You'd think that due to her success in these roles, she would be doing alright financially, but as it turns out, that seems to be pretty far from the truth. She's been pursuing acting since she was only 13 years old and moved with her family to the Los Angeles area, but she hasn't had any major roles up until the last few years. She revealed that she earned enough money to buy herself a home and give back to her family who had made sacrifices for her, but as it turns out, that home might be at risk. So let's go over everything that she has shared about her financial situation. She was doing a story with The Hollywood Reporter when she revealed both her financial struggles and her issues with experiencing burnout. When she started her career in HBO's Sharp Objects, she was apparently reassured by Amy Adams that she would be able to balance her personal and professional life, but Sweeney reportedly has had a hard time doing so. She also opened up about her hopes to one day soon have a family, saying, "I want to have a family. I've always wanted to be a young mom, and I'm worried about how this industry puts stigmas on young women who have children and looks at them in a different light. I was worried that if I don't work, there is no money and no support for the kids I would have." She says she is constantly filling her schedule with new roles and movies because she can't afford to do anything else. Sweeney said, "If I wanted to take a 6-month break, I don't have income to cover that. I don't have someone supporting me. I don't have anyone I can turn to pay my bills or call for help. They don't pay actors like they used to, and with streamers you no longer get residuals. The established stars still get paid, but I have to give 5% to my lawyer, 10% to my agents, 3% or something like that to my business manager. I have to pay my publicist every month, and that's more than my mortgage." Now let's talk about that mortgage, because you may be feeling empathetic to her right now as she appears to be a struggling actress just trying to survive in a tough industry, but let's reveal some realities about her situation. She just recently bought a home after working for 5 years. However, it apparently hasn't been all great because it reportedly became a TikTok trend for people to take pictures outside her home, and paparazzi are often camped outside despite her mom apparently begging them to leave. But she says she can't keep them out because she can't even afford to buy a gate date. She says that she's very proud of herself for even being able to afford a home at all, saying, "I couldn't believe I was even able to buy a house. I want to be able to stay there." Sweeney also said that she's often taking brand deals due to her needing to be able to pay her bills, like becoming a Miu Miu ambassador and starring in an Armani beauty campaign. She said, "If I just acted, I wouldn't be able to afford my life in LA. I take deals because I have to." So you may be imagining that she is trying to afford a mortgage on a small, modest, respectable family home, because she obviously can't afford to blow all her cash if she's so broke and struggling to make a living, right? Well, the truth is that she purchased a $3 million Los Angeles mansion with a front porch view of a golf course, apparently maxing out all the money she's made from acting and deals by purchasing the luxurious home. She also even paid a total of over $300,000 over the asking price. Obviously, this must have ended up hurting her wallet pretty badly, as she's now finding herself unable to keep up with making the payments on the expensive 1930s home. Many people on social media felt the same way about the situation. Tweets included things like, "I am struggling to sympathize here. The irony of claiming you are broke while living in a $3 million home is, well, glaring," and "Y'all believing that Sydney Sweeney is broke is crazy. That girl literally has a business degree and sat down and read all her contracts herself. Be serious, she literally has a brand deal with Fenty." So this could be a story of a struggling actor just trying to make it in the industry, or a celebrity who really needs a reality check. American actress Sydney Sweeney gained her popularity through the show Everything Sucks on Netflix, and since then has grown in notoriety, with 2 Emmy nominations for Best Supporting Actress for her roles in Euphoria and White Lotus. The Emmy Awards weren't the only upcoming celebration for her, however, as over the weekend she also celebrated her mother's 60th birthday. She threw what she called an impromptu hoedown, and the entire theme of the party seemed to be cowboys. It looks like it was a pretty good time, and Sydney also shared photos and videos of the celebration to her Instagram page. However, close viewers noticed that there was something in one of the photos that they found pretty upsetting, and controversy quickly started spreading across the internet as more people shared what they had found. So let's take a look at the celebration and what has people talking. As I said before, she threw a surprise hoedown for her mother. Everyone's outfits consisted of cowboy hats, boots, and other Wild West accessories. She could even be seen riding on a mechanical bull. The celebration taking place at their farm in Idaho, where the actress grew up. She posted a gallery of photos and videos to her Instagram page with over 14 million followers, and with so many people following you, it makes sense that at least a few of them are gonna look pretty closely at the contents of the images. In the last picture, you can see Sydney and her mother standing in front of a table with a cake on top of it. Behind them, you can see an unnamed and unknown person wearing a Blue Lives Matter t-shirt, the emblem of a black and white American flag with a blue line through it. The Blue Lives Matter movement is well known for being a counter movement against Black Lives Matter. Her brother Trent Sweeney also uploaded his own series of pictures to Instagram. In these, you can see people wearing red hats that appear to match the Make America Great Again style, but he explains that they actually just say Make 60 Great Again. Despite this, people who saw the shirt and hats took to social media to share their displeasure about what they thought were incorrect political views. Many messages showing up on social media apps like Twitter, whether it be actual criticism or jokes made in a negative light. Finally, it seemed like Sydney couldn't stay silent on the situation any longer and put out a tweet to her 1 million followers. It said, "You guys, this is wild. An innocent celebration for my mom's milestone 60th birthday has turned into an absurd political statement, which was not the intention. Please stop making assumptions. Much love to everyone and happy birthday, Mom." The tweet now having over 100,000 likes and thousands of replies. However, people took issue with the fact that she said it wasn't her intention, and those who were defending her by saying her family's political views are not her own. They said that she chose the images herself and wouldn't have put that specific image on social media if she didn't want it to be discussed or wasn't in support of it herself. So despite her calls for people to stop talking about it and making assumptions, most people are still commenting on it and providing their opinions. People on Twitter continued to put out serious messages like, how can you not be racist when you're smiling next to people wearing Blue Lives Matter shirts and fake MAGA hats? And if the politics of Sydney Sweeney's parents shock you, you're gonna be pretty disappointed when you find out the politics of most white people's parents, especially the famous ones. While there were also a good number of people in her replies in support of her and wishing her mother a happy birthday, a majority of the most liked and retweeted tweets in this case were not on her side.
Why is everyone saying that Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney are having an affair? Who is Taylor Swift's new rumored boyfriend? And have you seen a YouTuber's horrible prank on a homeless man that's now gone viral? First up, let's talk about the insane cheating rumors that have been swirling around Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell. The two of them are currently filming a romantic comedy in Australia. Sounds like a pretty sweet gig that everyone's happy about. Well, everyone except his girlfriend. The accusations of cheating have been going on for about a month now, but they reached an all-time high when Sydney posted several pictures with Glenn on Instagram. And there's no other way to say this, they straight up look like a couple. The two of them can be seen sitting very closely and getting cuddly. I mean, it's not even subtle. Their heads are touching and they're leaning into each other. It literally looks like they're in love. When Sydney posted these photos on Instagram, Glenn's girlfriend immediately unfollowed her. Gigi Paris has been dating him since 2020, and she initially seemed to be very friendly with Sydney and even excited about the movie that they were making. She probably didn't think of Sydney as anything more than just her boyfriend's co-star. Once the casting was announced, she even posted a message congratulating her on Instagram. And on the surface, it didn't really seem like she had anything to be worried about. Sydney has been engaged to her fiancé Jonathan Davino since February last year, and on social media, they seem to be very happy despite the long distance. But as we know, looks can be deceiving, because we've now seen a lot of signs pointing to the fact that something might be going on between Sydney and Glenn. Let's get into the alleged evidence. One video on TikTok that went viral recently shows Glenn sweeping her off her feet and dipping her backwards. In the clip, he's seen supporting her back while he dips her down. Of course, the whole thing looks extremely romantic, so it's no wonder that people started saying it was going to be disrespectful to his girlfriend. Then there was another video that just made these allegations even harder to deny. On the surface, it looked like an innocent red carpet interview where Sydney was holding the microphone between them and they're discussing the filming of the movie, but their body language tells a different story. The long pause at the beginning of his statement seems to carry a lot of sexual tension, and if you look at Sydney's gaze, it's very direct. She almost looks like she's getting lost in his eyes. Their body language is extremely flirtatious, and as the interview goes on, they keep getting closer and closer to each other until they're almost pressed together. If you watch this clip, it's really hard to deny that there is nothing going on, and the comments are calling it out too. People said things like, they rolled out of bed 10 minutes before this, and think about his poor girlfriend. There were also some who accused Sydney of being a real-life Cassie, who, as we all know, had a major cheating storyline in Euphoria. It doesn't help that paparazzi have already captured plenty of PDA moments off set. One of the pictures shows them going for a swim at the beach and cuddling in the water. The two of them have also posted heaps of pictures of each other on social media, including photos of Sydney hanging out with Glenn's parents and family at the Taronga Zoo in Australia. So judging by what you've seen, do you actually think that they are having an affair? It sounds crazy, but it wouldn't be the first time something like this has happened. There are heaps of actors who've fallen in love on set and hooked up with their co-stars, despite the fact that they might be married or in a relationship. Between the long hours, rehearsals, and constant presence of the camera crew, you wouldn't really think sets would be a very romantic place. But when you look at the chemistry that two actors need to have in order to pull off a romantic comedy, it starts to make a little more sense. Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell have that chemistry. It's undeniable. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're having an affair, but it's clearly enough to make one of their partners back home feel threatened. In fact, it's been rumored that Glenn's girlfriend has now actually broken up with him over this. Apparently, their relationship has been on the rocks in the last couple of months since filming began. In March, Gigi traveled to the Sydney film set to be with him, but she returned to the US less than 2 weeks later. So either it was always supposed to be a very short trip, or they had some kind of fight and she decided to fly back early. There was also an anonymous tip that was posted on Demie about this. It read, B-list celebrity on a hugely popular streaming show has just dumped her fiancé and partner of many years. Fans guessed that the post was referencing Sydney and her engagement with Jonathan. But of course, that's only speculation and none of it has actually been confirmed. So do you guys think there's any truth to it? Or is it just people jumping to conclusions? Now, on the subject of rumors, how do we feel about Taylor Swift dating a Formula 1 driver? That's the rumor that's taken the internet by storm. If you believe the gossip, which we'll be getting into, Taylor is said to be seeing Fernando Alonso, the champion driver for Aston Martin. Like many other rumors, this one started on the popular blind item Instagram account Demie. The site shared an anonymous email which read, "A couple of Spanish magazines have been posting about Taylor Swift and Spanish F1 driver Fernando Alonso. According to them, the couple has been seeing each other for a week now. Nothing serious though, since they are both recently single." Now, you might be quick to discount this post given that Demie is more about speculation than facts, but you have to remember that they have accurately predicted new celebrity couples before. In fact, the most recent prediction was Kendall Jenner and Bad Bunny, then Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet, both which turned out to be true. So take these posts with a grain of salt, but don't discount them completely. In fact, this time around, they might be onto something once again, because Alfonso actually hinted that there might be some truth to it. He posted a video of himself on TikTok where he was seen listening to a sped up version of Taylor's song Karma. Alfonso then winked at the camera at the end of the video. So he didn't confirm or deny anything, but he clearly heard about all the speculation that's been going around. The video was viewed almost 3 million times and it has around 500,000 likes. Judging by the comment section, fans think he's definitely trying to tell us something. People wrote things like, "He knows what he's doing," and "We call this a soft launch." There's even been some new thirst traps posted about him to Taylor Swift songs. So it's pretty obvious that people are really getting behind this potential new romance. At 41 years old, Alfonso is nearly a decade older than Joe Alwyn, but this doesn't necessarily mean that he's too old for Taylor. And of course, he's insanely attractive. On the surface, it doesn't seem like the two of them would have very much in common, aside from being super accomplished in their respective fields. Fernando is considered one of the greatest drivers in the history of Formula One. He's won 2 world championships during his career and is one of the most successful drivers of this generation. His net worth is estimated to be around $260 million, and he makes as much as $40 million per year between earnings and endorsements. Aside from that, both Taylor and Fernando have recently split up with their partners. Earlier this month, Fernando announced that he was calling it quits with his girlfriend, journalist and TV presenter Andrea Schlager. They were both together for a little over a year before breaking up on April the 3rd. Fernando was married once before, and he's since had quite a few long-term relationships, but he doesn't have any children. Although he's very successful at what he does, he has admitted that his dedication to sport left him with no friends, no family, no free time, no privacy, no wife, and no kids. So clearly it did have a bit of an impact on his personal life in some capacity. And we know Taylor recently broke up with her boyfriend of 6 years, Joe Alwyn. At the time, an inside source that spoke to the Daily Mail claimed that Taylor's success played a significant role in their breakup. They said, "It's been hard for Joe trying to make it in Hollywood and not quite becoming leading man material while dating one of the most famous women in the world over the last 6 years. It was easier during the pandemic when it was just the two of them. But once things returned to normal, Taylor Swift, the superstar, emerged, and their differences were even more apparent. They really made a go of it and tried everything they could, but ultimately were unable to save the relationship." So he was either uncomfortable or frustrated with the fact that she has this amazing career, while his is a lot more low-key. In the 2 weeks since their split, so many people in Taylor's inner circle have now unfollowed her ex. We're talking about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, Austin Swift, Gigi Hadid, and the Haim sisters. They were all spotted walking around New York City together, which made it seem like something more was going on. Although we have no idea what was actually said, it's nice to see that Taylor's best friends really have her back in this breakup. Okay, now we need to talk about the most disgusting, heartless prank on the internet. A YouTuber has come under fire after buying a homeless man food only to eat it right in front of him instead. The young man behind the YouTube channel What's Up Trey started off the video by telling his subscribers, "Today it's my job to make sure there's one less hungry person on the streets." He then approached a man behind a Wendy's to ask if he was hungry. The man was clearly doing it rough and appeared to be sleeping on the streets. Once he takes the guy's order, the two of them fist bump before Trey assures him that he will be right back. Then he goes into Wendy's and orders the man a Baconator combo. But this is when things turn sour. He walks back to the homeless man holding the burger, the fries, and the drink. The man has his arms outstretched, but instead of handing him the food, Trey decides to place it on the floor beside him. He then starts this big speech and says, "I was homeless myself, so I want to make sure you get on the right path and you're always able to get back on your feet." As he's speaking, the YouTuber then unwraps the man's burger and takes a bite out of it. And to add even more salt in the wound, he says, "I want you to enjoy this." The camera then pans to the man on the floor as he looks visibly disappointed. Trey then shovels a few more fries in his mouth and washes the whole thing down with soda. He says, "This is really good," and then he just walks away. The whole video is literally so disgusting and cruel it's impossible to watch. After he posted it on his channel, he probably thought better of it and decided to take it down. But of course, that's not how the internet internet works. The clip eventually made its way onto Twitter and was viewed by 26 million people. It's safe to say that everyone was horrified. One person wrote, "Filming buying someone food is already distasteful, but to eat it in front of his face and upload it is disgusting. He deserves no grace." Another person said, "I can't put into words how angry this made me. I can't honestly describe how much this broke my heart. This ruined my night." Others claimed that the prank was actually staged, and they pointed to all the breaks and the cuts that were in the video. It was also claimed that the two of them rehearsed it because they knew it would bring in a ton of views. But whether or not it was even staged, most people can agree it was just a horrible idea. When it comes to making content, unfortunately, YouTubers have been known to target homeless people. The videos might be disguised as some kind of act of charity by giving them money or food, but it almost always involves shoving a camera in their face at the same time, because people are totally unable to do good things if it's not being recorded. A couple years ago, it seemed like YouTube pranksters were everywhere. Of course, there are still a few popular channels that do it, but the game has changed a lot since the 2010s. Thankfully, people have gotten sick of that kind of thing, and it's lost a lot of its original hype. These days, bigger creators like MrBeast are focused more on philanthropy rather than anything else. Now it's more about using your influence for good and trying to bring about actual change in the world. This new era of YouTube isn't perfect, but thankfully we're seeing a bit more of a shift towards positive, heartwarming content, which is something that everyone needs a lot more of these days.